Maraming beses na kitang nilayasan, iniwanan na ibang pinuntahan.
I'm sleepy now.
In 2010, December, we boarded a plane at Vancouver International Airport with a whole bunch of family and friends bound for Manila, Republic of Philippines.
Binabalikan. Manila, I keep coming back to Manila. Simply ain't no place like Manila. Manila, I'm coming home.
We're here.
I've tried the rides in Disneyland, dated a million girls in Sydney. Somehow I feel like I don't belong. Hinahanap kita Manila. Ang ingay mong kay sarap sa tenga. Mga jeepney mong nagliliparan, mga babae mong nagagandahan. Take me back in your arms, Manila, and promise me you'll never let go. Promise me you'll never let go. Manila, Manila, I keep coming back to Manila.
First one is your jeepney. Like,
Manila, I'm coming home. Hinahanap kita Manila. Ang ingay mong kay sarap sa tenga. Mga jeepney mong nagliliparan, mga babae mong nagagandahan.
Generally, half my family was born in the Metro Vancouver area and half my family was born in the Metro Manila area. So we're leaving home and coming home to Bayanan, which is part of the town of Muntinlupa, which is part of Metro Manila.
No place in the world like Manila. I'm coming home to stay.
Over there?
You wanna go, yeah.
Noon ako'y nalulungkot at walang kasama, kasamang nagmamahal, kasamang umuunawa. Kaya ako'y humingi ng tulong sa buong bathala.
We wanted to go for a little walk just to stretch our legs and check out the neighborhood.
Diwata, ikaw ang buhay ko. Diwata, ikaw ang pag-asa ko. Diwata, ikaw ang liwanag sa buhay kong madilim. Diwata, ikaw lamang ang
A short walk away is Laguna de Bay, which is a really, really big lake. In fact, it's the biggest lake in the Philippines. It's a major source of freshwater fish, and you can see the fish pens everywhere.
Dahil mukha mo'y di na muling nasilayan, buhay ko'y bumalik sa kadiliman. Diwata, ikaw ang buhay ko. Diwata, ikaw ang pag-asa ko. Diwata, ikaw ang liwanag sa buhay kong madilim. Diwata, ikaw lamang ang aking.
Christina, where are we going?
I don't know, Joe. I'm lost. I don't know this area.
Oh, I see more street foods.
We're going to Lawton today. This is our third day. Tira is sick. Today is December what, Joe? 21st?
I lost track.
Oh yeah, I lost track of date too. But you want to experience that?
May libre kayong toothpaste at libre kayong toothbrush. May libre kayong toothpaste. May libre kayong toothbrush. At saka
Intramuros is the old part of Manila, the walled city built during the Spanish times. The city was unfortunately blown up, bombed during the Second World War, and had to be rebuilt brick by brick.
kaya ngayon, eto na naman ako. Nagbi-business ng kung ano-ano. Merong ballpen, pentel pen, at pwede mo rin akong maging boyfriend. Basta't 7, uuwi na ako sa amin. Kasi meron pa akong gagawin. Magpapasuso nitong alaga kong tuta. Palusok, mabait, patigla. Uy, merong isang chick, gusto niya raw akong mami. Murder siya sa akin at bibili ng meat. Tong aking longganisa, ang kanyang kursonada. Kasi malaki, kasi mataba, at mahaba. Ako'y kanyang Here we go! Here we go! At ang nangyari, ako'y nawili. Makwento siya kasi at hindi ko.
Oo, doon nga dito tayo. Opinion, Chinatown dito.
Akala ko bukas pero yung pala sarado. Akala ko mansanas, yung pala banana. Akala ko meron pa, yung pala wala na.
Akala ko foreign, yung pala Pinoy. Akala ko blackjack, yung pala pusoy. Akala ko talo, yung pala panalo. Akala ko si Chito, yung pala ako.
Akala ko dati walang mangyayari. Akala din nila ngayon wala silang masabi. Akala ng lahat mapapagod din ako. Mabuti na lang matigas ang aking ulo. Akala ko walang mapupuntahan kahit na paghirapan. Ngunit mali na naman. Kung hindi mo susubukan.
On this day, we left the Laurel home in Bayanan and headed out to do a little swimming at Twin Falls, and we stopped off at Rahina's mom's place on the way out there.
For the first time in my life, na-meet kong girl in decent style. Miss Asuncion, adorasyon, just call her unique name Sean. Sexy siya at beauty pa, inain pa ang forma niya. Discover kong may talent siya, kaya ako na-in-love sa kanya. Pagkausap ko siya, tumitigas ang titian ko. Sa katatawa, pag siya'y nagkwento na lumalabas ang pekas niya sa bibig at kikinis pa yun. Pagkausap ko siya, tumitigas ang tiyan ko. Sa katatawa, sa mga bangka niya, pag siya'y nagkwento na lumalabas ang pekas niya sa bibig niya, kagandalan niya, lumilitaw ang
Twin Falls appears to be, they made a pool in a creek. And the water runs in, it's beautiful and warm, and the whole place is surrounded by jungle. It's a fantastic place to spend a family afternoon.
Sayang di naman ang forma, lagi lang namang may sisingit sa tuwing tayo'y magkasama. Bakit pa kailangan ng rosas kung marami namang mag-aalay sa'yo? Upo na lang at aaway, maghihintay ng pagkakataon. Bibigyan na lang silang magkandara pa naman ligaw sa'yo. Idadaan na lang kita sa awiting kong ito.
If you're brave enough, there's even this one place where a waterfall comes down off the side of the mountain. But the pressure is kind of high, so you gotta hold on. We had made arrangements to stay in a resort near Batangas, which is south of Manila. Batangas is known for its beach houses and resorts on the ocean.
Na ang misis ni Juan ay madaling makuha. Bago maniwala, mag-isip-isip ka muna. Marami ang mamatay sa maling akala. Nung ako'y musmus pa lamang ay takot sa multo. Nung ako'y naging binata sa airpass ng syota ko.
The way in is down a long staircase down the mountain, so everything has to be carried in.
Pinabalak mo, maliit na butas lumalaki. Konting gusot, dumadami. Di mo maibabaon sa limot at bahala kapag nabulag ka. Mga
Kalat na balita, ang kaligtas ay madaling
Joey's in a good mood. In a good mood. Younger people to hang out with.
We stocked up on Christmas supplies at the local wet market.
maliit na butas lumalaki.
food is eclectic, but I'm destined to be a diabetic. After the lechon, let's get dessert. Ubi jam and leche flan, so good it hurts. Champorado, too hot to swallow. I sit down with some halo halo. Follow up with a San Mig bottle and fly like a bird like Nelly Furtado. Pass me the recipe for something good to eat. Nice and sweet like cuisine from the Philippines. Or go to Jollibee, it's only down the street. Get me chicken joint, sweet spaghetti please. Pass me the recipe for something good to eat. Nice and sweet like cuisine from the Philippines. Or go to Jollibee, it's only down the street. Get me chicken joint, sweet spaghetti please. Last but not least, there's chicken adobo. Or beef, or pork, or doggy or dodo. Add a bit of soy sauce, pepper and patis. Mix it up, let it cook for 15 minutes. I can't be in tip-top shape with this diet, but take away my ista, I'ma start a riot. If I don't stop, I'll be tabat. You made sinigang, damn, you made my mouth basat. Pass me the recipe for something good to eat. Nice and sweet like cuisine from the Philippines. Or go to Jollibee, it's only down the street. Get me chicken joint, sweet spaghetti please. Pass me the recipe for something good to eat. Nice and sweet like cuisine from the Philippines. Or go to Jollibee, it's only down the street. Get me chicken joint, sweet spaghetti please.
Ano na si Coco?
Lupay, di na rin maghihintay. Basta't may picture mo, inday. Basta't may picture mo, inday. Pagkat kung tamang hinala ay di ako ganyan. At aching at chuchuchu ka pa dyan. Pag keme-keme mo kung pagbintangan.
You're my language person, Christina. Let's find out what's the story.
Wala kasama si Stevie J. Lahat yung kasama.
Lahat kami kasama.
Habla español? Un poquito, señor.
On Christmas Day, we rented a boat to head out to a little island just offshore.
Maligaya ka pag ako ay masaya. Akala mo hindi ko naisip na kasama ako sa iyong panaginip. Bawat sabihin.
Right after Christmas, we decided to head for the island province of Palawan, best known for its rainforests and wild nature. On this trip, family members from Sydney, Australia joined the ones from Manila and Vancouver.
You have to move fast on this one. You have to go, guys.
Ipapasalamat sa inyong pagtangkilik. Sinaasahan namin na muli tayong magkikita. Maraming salamat po.
Jungle rain. Jungle rain.
That's nice.
Don't you think it's a little early? Sino ba ang gusto niya? Araw-araw ako'y nananoy, walang lakas ng loob na lumapit sa kanya. Mabuti pa, ikaw na ang magsabi at ikwento mo na lang kung ano ang...
We rented a boat for the entire day. It would take us to 3 islands in Honda Bay, which is located very near Puerto Princesa, where we were staying.
Lakad lang ay ayos na. Mga gabing laging nasa labas, nag-iinom sa tapat ng ISIS baba at nagkakape sa ISIS taas. Wag din kalimutan mga gabing nagdiliparan sa campus ng lahat.
don't need it, they'll dry out. Hey, it looked like food.
Napansin ang iyong pagdating mo pa ang isang bagyong namusa palayo. Ihip na hangin biglang nag-iba, sino binabagyo na ako ng ibang karinyo. Nananaginip ba ako ng gising ay tinamaan ng magaling. Parin ko ang puso ko ng iyong binahan. Na pag-ibig pinulahan, hindi na pag-ibig parang hilahan. Ang puso ko tahimik na nagtitinta, damong pinulahan. Tintik, tintik,
Hello, hello. Part of it.
Hello on Snake Island.
kasabay ng hangin natin marampi. Napakabang ika'y nariyan sa aking
That's a nice water.
Di mo na mapapawing iniwang sakit sa mga salitang binitiwan mo. Hindi ba't ikaw na rin ang nagpasya, nagtakda at siyang unang umiwas? Bakit nga ba ako yung pinaasa? Nahulog ng mga ulap, buwan at araw, mga bituin. Ang ginugol na panahoy nasaan? Di ba't sayang naman? Giliw. Yeah, 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 yeah. Laging may hawak-hawak na gitara, konting udyok lamang kakanta na. Kay simple lamang ng buhay nun, walang mabibigat na suliranin. Problema lamang laging kulang ang datong. Sana napunta ang panahon? Sana nga ba? Sana nga ba? Sana napunta ang panahon? Sana nga ba? Sana nga ba? Pa rin ngayon, magkaibigan, magkaibigan, magkabarkada pa rin ngayon. Nagsimula ang lahat sa eskwela. Siya ang iyong
We decided to see one of Palawan's better-known natural wonders, the famous underground river. Look at those trees, man. Big, tall timber, limestone. Look at that, eh?
And we are here now in Barangay Tagabinet, no? And Ogong Rock. And what's called, this limestone is called Ogong Rock. Now, when I was 1999, the UP student from Manila was visiting here. And that's one of the reasons why this limestone called Ogong Rock.
On the way to the underground river, we came upon this ecotourism project known as Ugong Rock. Ugong Rock is a giant block of limestone with a series of caves inside that allow you to go into the rock, literally into the rock, up through its center, and pop out on top.
Sa piling mo madilim na kahapon, di ko na alintana dahil sa'yo.
We are here now in Ugong Rock area, no? Just because this is hollow. If you tap this, it's minimized of water. That's the reasons why this limestone is called Ugong Rock. Ugong Rock is the Filipino term that means echoing sounds or vibrations. In the left and the right. Okay? Sir, promote niyo po yung airplane namin na this coming January. Okay sir, this is the next step, no? Just because narrow, no? This is narrow, eh? I will survive. So I know after this you go to underground river, no? That's the underground river. The far away mountain.
Ito na, pupunta natin sila.
Okay. Yung tatlo naglakad-lakad eh.
Ang katotohanan ay may dalawang mukha. Ang tama sa iyo ay mali sa tingin ng iba. Na mas malaya pa sa karamihan, may mga sundalo na sarili ang kalaban, at may pinapaslang na nabubuhay ng walang hanggan. Magkabilaan ng mundo, magkabilaan ng mundo, magkabilaan ng mundo. May kaliwat, may kanan sa ating lipunan. Patuloy ang pagtutunggali, patuloy ang paglalaban. Pumanig ka, wag nang ipagpaliban pa. Ang di makapagpasiya ay maiipit sa gitna. Bulok na ang haligi ng ating lipunan. Matibay ang pananalig na ito'y palitan. Suriin mong mabuti ang iyong paninindigan, pagkat magkabilaan ang mundo. Magkabilaan ang mundo.
Lupang kulang sa dilim, ikaw ang magsasabing kaya mo to. Tulad ng isang tanglaw sa gitna ng bagyo, isigaw mo sa hangin, tumindig at magsilbing liwanag, liwanag sa dilim. Harapin mong magiding ang bago.
This is the famous underground river that we'd come to see. It comes right from under the mountains, travels 8 kilometers through a limestone cave system to empty into the ocean. All around the underground river is a park and protects rainforest, an amazing variety of species, both plants and animals.
Okay, so tayo po ay papasok up to 1.5 kilometers. At ang ating boat ride sa loob ng cave ay 45 minutes. Round trip po ang 45 minutes. 8.2 kilometers, the total length of this underground river. Again, it is our longest cave here in the Philippines. So later on, I will be showing you more spectacular rock formation regarding the stalactites and
Got a big hand.
and po ang ating mga stalactite waves formation from the ground.
More bats.
Oh.
Aloha.
Hi, Joey!
Up to go brown. Yan, sila po. Yan. Crystal calcite. That's making up food siya.
Sparkling.
Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat.
Marami pong salamat.
Enjoy the visit here in underground river.
Oh, fantastic.
You don't need it anymore, baby.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, another life for us. Have a good time.
Hi.
Back in Metro Manila in Bayanan, getting ready for New Year's Eve.
sunset. We have to...
Akira.
I'll get you tissue.
The street in front of the home in Bayanan might be small, but it's got a big heart with some parades and a constant stream of family and friends on New Year's Day. A New Year's Day just wouldn't be complete without the fire-breathing lady man dancers. All good things must come to an end eventually, and it was time for most of the Vancouver family and the Sydney family too to head home. Christina and I were going to stay. Steve, Rahina, and Kira were going to stay too a bit longer.
Joey, I can dance that.
To the tune of the Bee Gees. How cool is that? Doesn't get cool. Now it was time to head southeast to the Bicol region of the Philippines to visit Regina's grandmother and her extended family. You ever see a cow riding a motorbike? Wow, that's a neat one.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful place.
Sana'y buksan mo ang iyong damdamin, ang himig ay dinggin mo. Ito'y awit na inaalay sa'yo, sana'y maibigan mo. Oh, dinggin mo ang himig. Oh, dinggin mo ang himig, aawitin sa'yo habang merong pinig. Sa saliw ng aking gitara sinta, hayaan mong awitan kita, habang ang buwan sa langit matapa at ang bituin may ningning pa. Oh, dinggin mo ang himig, awitin sa'yo habang merong pinig.
In this van, 18, and the Canadians are sitting at the back. It's all got big asses.
We take 5.
I'm a whale.
Here's as big as a 3-year-old.
CWC is well done.
Tulad ng puno na galing sa binhi, ang mga dakilang gaway nagmumula sa guni-guni.
Yung mga bata daw gusto magtayo.
Kung ang nais mo'y maging malaya sa mundong puno ng panlupil, buhayin sa sarili ang malayang paraan, at sa araw-araw na pakikitungo sa tahanan at lipuno, sa tahanan at lipuno.
Huwag ka nang mag-alala, hindi ako in love sa'yo.
Imagine ski lifts on an artificial lake. That's the wakeboard park, where people are pulled around with these cables that are put together in a way that I still don't understand and rip you along the water surface. Steve decided to have a go, so we went to what's known as the training pond. There he goes. there he goes. Going.
Buffalo. You see, that's not a cow, that's water. Buffalo.
Mga abilidad. Para makaguskarte. Sa halip na sana tumalab siya sa MRT. Alam mo medyo walang capability.
I'd learned from our Lonely Planet guide that an extinct volcano, Mount Isarog, was nearby. It had been a national park since the 1930s and was still covered in old-growth rainforest. And this I had to see. I'd heard that there was possibly a guide that could take me up on a 2-day trip to the top of the mountain, but wasn't sure. So we gathered up some food just on the chance that we could get a guide. Got some rice, some bananas, some noodles, put that in a little plastic bag, got a backpack, and we all piled into a van and headed for the mountain. At the bottom of the mountain, we found Malabasay Falls and a beautiful plunge pool. Great for swimming, but you know what? As soon as we got to the mountain, it started raining, and that water was mighty cold. Well, it turns out I did get a guide to take me up the mountain. His name was Bong, and Bong had a tent, which was a good thing because I didn't have a tent, and I had food, which was a good thing because Bong didn't have food. So we shared the tent, we shared the food, we traveled light, and Bong led me up Mount Isarog. For the 2 days that Bong and I were on the mountain, it never stopped raining. Not once, not even for a minute. It rained constantly, and I found out later that the nickname for Mount Isarog is Water Mountain. And boy, did they get that right. Bong had told me that the higher we got on the mountain, the colder it would get, and he was right. By the time we set up our camp, it was quite cool. The next morning, after spending one of the coldest nights I think I've ever spent, I shivered all night, being soaked to the bone, we headed for the top to see what we could see. The summit of Mount Isarog. The summit is in the clouds. The tail end of rainy season. But still good. A good trip. What an awesome rainforest this is. Massive trees, thick jungle growth. In fact, that's exactly the reason that Philippine freedom fighters set themselves up here during the Second World War. And again in the 1970s, this was a base for the New People's Army, the communist insurgents of the Philippines. An amazing place full of wildlife, history, and great big jungle trees. Back at the bottom of the mountain, I waded through a soaking wet banana plantation and then into the arms of the waiting family and all that yummy Filipino food. Now it was just Christina and I on the road as we took buses and jeepneys and vans, heading generally southeast now down through Bicol to the town of Legazpi. Our plan was to do a tour of the Visayas. The Visayas are in the central Philippines. They're essentially the island provinces that make up the center of the country.
Upang malaman mong ako'y tapat pa rin sa'yo.
This is our hotel room in Legazpi in Bicol. It cost us $18, and apparently you get more for $18 than we got in Mexico. You get a hot shower, which is rare in the Philippines, a TV that works, aircon. Do you like it, Christina? The aircon kind of leaks, so our tile floor is kind of wet. That's kind of the downside to this particular $18 room. But look at the upside. Just outside this door.
Huwag kang mangangamba, ayos lang. Kumusta ka, mahal ko, ayos ba? Sana'y di pa rin nagbabago.
Bakit hindi kita niligawan? Ngayon ako'y nanghihinayang.
We were headed for the little port town of Matnog. Our guidebook had warned us not to stay there, so we were looking to catch the ferry across the straits to Samar. This is another island province, and we were going to stay in the little town of Allen.
Isang munting tahanang
tayo.
Bakit marami ang nagdurusang mga walang kasalanan? Mga ilang araw na lamang haharapin na niya ang bitayan. Paano niya isisigaw na siya'y sadyang walang kasalanan? Tanging ang Diyos lamang ang siyang saksi at siyang nakakaalam.
Now, Samar is a giant island with its own great legacy of rainforests as well. And boy, was the rain ever coming down when we woke up the next morning.
ako'y patay na at hirit ko lamang dalawin mo giliw ang ulilan lamang dalawin mo giliw ang ulilan linig kung marinig mo ang tagoy at dagig ako'y pagkinakas sa harap ng altar at iyong idalangin naglalang at mali at iyong idalangin naglalang.
Catbalogan, Samar has a real farming feel to it. This is a rural town that supplies the farmers around it. And I have to say, I have never been in a town that uses so many bicycles for so many purposes. In the bus station was a poster about the 10 best ways not to get hijacked.
At walang hadlang na di malalagusan.
Across the San Joaquino Bridge is the island province of Leyte, probably best known for the place that General MacArthur landed when he returned to retake the Philippines from the Japanese Imperial Army. We were headed for the city of Tacloban, which had been getting a heck of a lot of rain lately, and consequently its rivers were busting their banks. Naturally, we headed out to see what we could find of General MacArthur. The river's big. Wow. Palo Church was used as a hospital after the initial landings by MacArthur.
The assault on Leyte carried the fighting forces of the Southwest Pacific some 2,500 miles from the point on New Guinea where the offensive against the enemy in that theater had begun. Right on schedule, the assault troops landed. Soldiers of the 10th Corps of the U.S. 6th Army. The landing near Tacloban went off smoothly, and U.S. forces quickly set about securing a position of sufficient area to facilitate a successful defense. On the Nashville, General MacArthur and Philippine President Sergio Osmeña prepared to go ashore several hours after the first waves landed. Osmeña was returning to his native land after an absence of some 2.5 years. The general set foot on Philippine soil for the first time since his departure from Corregidor in March 1942. About 20 miles to the south at Dulag, GIs of the 24th Corps made a second landing, coordinated with the invasion near Tacloban. By the end of D-Day, the beaches were secure, and the area was given enemy mines. While the beachhead was being cleared, the 96th Division advanced along the...
We left Tacloban and headed on down the road, eventually getting to the small port village of Bateau. We were there to jump the ferry over to Ube on the island province of Bohol. But first, we had to read the signs. Before jumping aboard, we had a delicious squid breakfast. When we saw all the beds, we nicknamed this ferry the Love Boat.
Balikat ay papasanin 300 kilo ng asukal 500 sako ng denorado 1,000 kaha ng delata 10 tonelada ng harina
Now, Bohol is probably best known for its interior, where you have the chocolate hills, these strange uniformed hills that poke up above the forest, a lot of grasslands and such. But we were headed for the small, quiet village of Anda for some beach time.
Look at that, Joe.
Sa'yo'y isang putik, larawan mo'y kilala. Magdalena, ikaw ay di maintindihan. Ika'y isang kapuspalad, bigo ka pa sa pag-ibig. Hindi ka nag-aral pag
Room at the Dap Dap. Kind of like a prison. Got your own mirror. That's it. Pretty basic.
Hindi mo man ito nais, ika'y walang magagawa. Pagkat kailangan mo mabuhay sa mundo. Tinitiis mo ang lahat, kay hirap na kalagayan. Ang pangarap mo, maahon sa hirap. Kaya ika'y namasukan sa kalapating mababa ang lipan.
Well, then we discovered that maybe Anda isn't as quiet as we had thought.
Tuglaks, Kial, Numeros, Smaglas, Aquino Set 1. Kami ang walong sumpa, mula sa lugar na talumpa sa walong Diyos. Nagkakagamit ang pagsakalo maranasan.
Sa ilahang bangko, mga presidente sa Sangguniang Kabataan, wailain kundi si Honorable Kenny, I forgot the family name, that's Kenny. They call themselves Street Guys. Welcome, Synchronizer Boys.
Like they drunk on like a G6.
The next morning, we took a little canoe out to Laminac Point, which is a protected area with caves, sacred sites, historic and prehistoric sites.
Hi, baby.
The canoe was a little narrow, but the scenery was fantastic.
Sana yung naniningil doon.
Okay na nila.
Para hindi ka na nahirapan.
Kaya nga eh. Okay na. Kanilang makuli. Ito gunda nila.
I'm doing good, baby. This is cool. What would you like now, baby? Water what? Because you know the water's full of crabs.
Is it?
Yeah, it's this crab farm.
Oh, is it?
They're very hungry.
Sampo.
What was that crunching sound?
Teka, mama.
Tingnan mo,
Wow. It's cool.
Pwede nang magtrabaho.
Those trails.
We're like this. Habitually, when our poor father buried their dead, they will bury it to the ground, which is facing to the sea and to the east. That is made of sap of a tree, powdered stone, and blood of animals. They mix it and some of them paint it by hands. That's why they are hand prayed. As a message that they were here, they buried their dead here on this island. And in the 9th century, the Islamic tradition entered to Mindanao. And aside from Islamic, they brought to Mindanao also cotton clothes. So they changed their bori weaving, abaka weaving, into cotton. The tour is ended, and I hope that you enjoy our tour here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, that's a little fish. Okay. Oh, beautiful day. Beautiful grassy park.
Well, it was time to leave the Dap Dap Resort, and we headed down to wait for the bus to Tagbilaran City. And while there, being a boy from Canada, I was pretty fascinated by the way people get around in this neck of the woods.
Garantisado na magtatagal. Pero kung ito'y masasakal, hindi mo to matitikman. Hindi mo to matitikman, mahal. Kahit na mayaman ka, sosyal. Kung di ka rin marunong magmahal, hindi mo to matitikman. Kung katawag ko lang ang habol nyo, na kung
After leaving Tagbilaran, we headed for the ferry to Dumaguete, which is on the island province of Negros. Negros is famous for its sugar production. It's been a sugar empire for well over a century.
Tiyak na huhulog, hatiempo amihan, haluag an leite, nga pagpipilian.
After Dumaguete, we really wanted to find another quiet little village down by the beach. So we chose Sipalai and headed out to cross the island of Negros. We had read in our guidebook about a resort called Driftwood City Resort, which you could get by taking a boat from Sipalai. It sounded really neat. We went to find it.
Report lang, anay.
Kakain muna.
Report lang pala. Ayan.
Oo. Oh God, that's good.
Oh, where? Oh, down at the beach. I see a Driftwood City. I see a sign. As far as I can figure, this is as close to paradise as you can get. We had our own nipa hut. We were on a beach called Sugar Beach. There was no vehicle access and trails led off into the jungle. It was awesome.
May sariling paninindigan, sumasayaw sa tunog ng kapayapaan.
We had heard that one of the trails led down the beachfront, past some of the other cabins and resorts, down into a forest, past a little village, and then off into a little hidden bay where I might get some snorkeling. So we decided to check it out.
Everywhere I look, the archipelago's enchanted by the beauty and smile. You're the best gift from Mother Nature, sweeter than buko juice, girl, you're so fine. Oh, my sweet, 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 sweetie island girl, sweet, sweet Filipina girl, sweet, sweet, sweetie island girl, you're the sweetest thing. Oh, you're the sweetest thing. You're the sweetest thing. You're the sweetest thing.
There were lots of starfish, even some things that looked like sea snakes but weren't, and of course, there were some beautiful corals. In the evening, I decided to swim out and see if I could go inside a sea cave, which was on the shore very near where our nipa hut was.
Alam kong ito'y malabo, di ko na mababago. Ganun pa man pakisabi wala.
Next morning, after a tasty breakfast, I signed on to a boat that was headed out to do some snorkeling on an old wreck.
Paano ko sasabihin sa'yo ang tunay na layunin ng puso ko? Di mo lang alam, ikaw ang tanging buhay ko. Kung alam mo lang, ikaw lang ang iniibig ko. Di mo lang alam, ikaw ang tanging buhay ko. Kung alam mo lang, ikaw lang ang iniibig ko.
Now this was snorkeling. There was tons of fish, all different colors, every which way you looked. baby.
Pagkat mahal na mahal kitang tunay.
We're heading to Bacolod now.
Daw nasusunog, sit-sit ang langit. Itong mga balot, itong mga balot.
What's the name of this town, Christina?
Check-in.
Check-in is the hotel. What's the town?
Bacolod City.
Bacolod City.
Kung ang mga sapa ang alat sa'y ibabaha, o kung ang dagat man sa'y itao itong tuba, inihiman ba doon na luruknan mahumura, ang dagat ang sapa kuhubson nga tanang pati itong bura. Man ba doon maupay itong test, itong mga bagay di dapat ang buta, ngan ang premyo iya kung pagpupulsan ng lista magkapustahan iksa kung dumanaga. Man ba dun maupay itong test, itong mga bagay di dapat ang buta, ngan ang premyo iya kung pagpupulsan ng lista magkapustahan iksa kung dumanaga.
We were off to catch the ferry to Iloilo City on the island province of Panay. We didn't know much about Panay, but we knew that at the far end of the island to where we were landing was the resort island of Boracay, and that's where we had our sights focused until, that is, we landed in Iloilo City.
I don't know where the bus terminal is.
Yeah, that's why we get a bite to eat and then pump the owners for their information. Well, we had planned to go right through Iloilo, find the bus station, and get out of town, but that would have been a big mistake because we ran smack dab into the middle of Dinigyang Festival, and it was a blast. We got a place to stay and hung out for a couple of days. Never in my life have I met so many random people who wanted to have their picture taken. The Philippine sign language for "please take my picture" is to hold your thumb and finger up in a right angle. And tons of people were doing that everywhere I went. This is our room at Iloilo. How many colors are in our small room?
This is a dormitory.
A dormitory for students.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a blue wall. We have a salmon closet, a white door, a yellow wall, and a purple wall. More salmon, yellow curtains, and CRISTINA. Now, the origins of the Dinagang Festival occurred in several places over time and are just too plain complicated for me to understand. Part of it is a Christian religious festival. Part of it commemorates the coming of the Malay people, the Asian people who are the majority here now. But who was here before were people much like you'd see on Borneo, dark-skinned people. So this festival features people in dark makeup to commemorate that time. And finally, it even has a Ferdinand Marcos part to it. In the 70s, Marcos encouraged communities to supersize their festivals, and this one in Iloilo was one that got the Marcos supersized treatment.
Rojas, right there.
Rojas it is.
Sigarilyong di maubos, alak na nakakalungkot.
Well, at Bye Bye Beach at Rojas, we found a beach that reminded me a heck of a lot of Long Beach at Tofino, except the water was a lot warmer.
Even one. Because you don't want going home. I don't have a hand carry. I'll hand carry.
Like these lamps. Those lamps are made with capiz, which is a specific kind of seashell which comes from the island province of Negros. They're beautiful, and for years, centuries, Filipinos have been using capiz as window panes and also as lamps. That's why in my backyard I now have capiz lamps that look a lot like that restaurant's.
Sa haplusin ang pusong bitin na bitin, kahit anong gawing lambing, di mo pa rin pansin.
Well, we couldn't put it off any longer. It was time to head for Cataclan. And Cataclan is a small town whose claim to fame is it's the jumping off point for Boracay. These days, the most famous resort island in the Philippines.
Tinali sa aking backpack,
Mamamahayag ng bato at nakarating sa balikan ng bundok. Naglakad paloob sa makapal ng kahiyan. Nakarating sa daang madamo ng sapatos ko'y isusuot na sana. Kanan na lamang ang natitira, kung saan naman nakarating ang kaliwat. Binalik-balik ay di pa rin makita. Ano ngayon ang
You gotta admit, the beach at Boracay is pretty special with its blue water and its beautiful white sand.
And we get a tour.
Boracay Beach, masarap mang chicks. Oleo, 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 may sex sa Boracay Beach, kay Raming Beach, sa Boracay Beach, puno ng beach. Sa Boracay Beach, masarap mang chicks. Oh, la 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 la. Ole,
on to next way.
Nais kong malaman mong ika'y bahagi na ng buhay ko. At kung may huling sasabihin, nais kong sambi na iyong marinig, tibok ng damdamin. Ikaw ay mahalaga sa akin.
The ferry crossing over to the island province of Mindoro started off all beautiful and calm and easy on that blue water near Boracay. But as we went, it turned rougher and rougher until the boat changed into a puke fest. As people lost their lunch, one lady wrapped her arms around CRISTINA's neck and wouldn't let go. It was quite a crossing. That's a room at Holly's Lodge.
Habang tumatagal, tumitindi.
We were headed for the other end of the island province of Mindoro. We were headed for Porto Galera, and Porto Galera is named after the old Spanish galleons. This is where the ships came on their trade between Mexico and the Philippines, one of the safe harbors that they would pull into, the tight little harbor at Porto Galera.
Pakinggan mo, mahal na mahal na mahal kita, sinta. Pag-ibig ko'y maaasahan mo. Mahal na mahal na mahal kita, sinta. Hindi ako magbabago. Pag-ibig kong mahal na mahal na mahal kita, sinta. Hindi ako magbabago. Pag-ibig kong ito'y para sa'yo.
These days there are no Spanish galleons, of course. People from Manila come for a little R&R on the local beaches. Also, this is a favorite harbor now for sailors who come in with their yachts from the US and Europe. The next morning, I went down to a local beach and was surprised and delighted to find a bunch of folks doing a beach seine. The last time I'd seen this is with the Stolo First Nations out on the Fraser River. Essentially, you take a net and make a giant U off the beach. Somebody with a boat is out at the end of the U, and then you haul in the net from both sides and see what you have caught.
matatag ang iyong kalooban, bigyan liwanag ang bawat isipan. Higit sa lahat ay tao.
Well, it was time to hop a canoe ferry over to Batangas City, which is only a short hop away from Manila.
Kung wariin ko sa ngayon ay muling nagbabalik ang barong Tagalog na sadyang makisig, mahaba-habang panahong nawaglit sa ating isip, na ito'y damit ng bansa kay hirap
Sila, lima. Ayaw, mes ka dyan mga bagong luto, mes, oh. Mga bagong luto, mes, mga lima.
On any bus in the Philippines, you're never far from these guys, which means you're going to eat pretty good if you're hungry.
Ang barong Tagalog natin ay dakila, pagkat siyang ginamit ng bayaning na mayapa.
A sign that says Bayanan. Back home with family, it's time to take a quick last-minute run into downtown Manila for a little bit of shopping. Maybe pick up those Capiz lamps we saw at Bye Bye Beach.
Pako tumae, iniisip kong parati ang aking only dream girl. She is very sexy, but her name I won't tell. So bounce, bounce, bounce hanggat ito ay magalit. Kapag kanan ay nangawit, kaliwa ang kapalit. One time! Kantutan aking mission kahit anong klaseng position, kaya ikaw ay tumihaya pa, upo o padapa, ilabas nyo na pukin nyo. Ito ng bulat ko, luhod sa aking harapan, susuhin nyo titi ko. Araw ko na naman, taglibog na naman ako, parang ayaw na tumigil pa. Lahat ng position ay gusto niya nang i-try. Never, 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 never siyang nagdi-deny. Kung minsan masakit pag siya'y dry na dry, sa laki ng nota ko, lagi siyang pinakaray. Tikas, may gatas. Ano ba that means? Konting bilis. Patakiyok, nakayo palad mo. Titi ko, kantutan aking mission kahit anong klaseng position, kaya ikaw ay tumihaya pa, upo padapay. Ito ng bulat ko, luhod sa aking harapan, susuhin nyo titi ko. Kantutan aking mission kahit anong klaseng position, kaya ikaw ay tumihaya pa, upo o padapay, labas nyo na pukin nyo. Ito ng bulat ko, luhod sa aking harapan, susuhin nyo titi ko.
Sometimes it feels like our Manila family is just in the next municipality instead of on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. Too bad they're not. Goodbye, sweet Manila.
Ngunit parang sa'yo ayaw nang lumayo. Ipagpatawad mo. Minahal kita agad.